Bill, in terms of what more can be done, you have been talking about this issue for at least a decade in terms of the pressure that needed to be put on the Russian oligarchs. Can you weigh in terms of what you've been doing and what we should be doing now?
Well, I think that if we had gone after the Russian oligarchs, and when I say Russian oligarchs, what I mean is Vladimir Putin, because they hold his money. If we had done that before the war, if we had done that after the last atrocity, or the atrocity before that, or the atrocity before that, Vladimir Putin might have had a different calculation than he had right now. And so we have to go far, far beyond just oligarchs in order to stop him when what he's doing in Ukraine. So far, we've gone after a dozen, maybe up to 20 oligarchs, depending on how you define it. We need to go after 100. 100 people are holding his cash
Hmm.
offshore. 100 of those people need to be sanctioned, and I see that we're working in that direction. And I'm the most critical person most of the time on governments. I'm critical of the British government where I live, of the U.S. government, of the Canadian government. But this time around, I'm not critical because I do see the sanctions program, the oligarch sanctioning is it's going well. It's ramping up. More people will be sanctioned. They're going after their assets. They're setting up international task forces to find the assets. And so I think that that's a really helpful move. That's important. The other thing which is important is that we've only disconnected 70% of the Russian banks from the SWIFT banking system. Um,
And why is that?
because the Europeans complained. They said if you disconnect 100%, it's going to hurt our economies. We have financial interests here. Don't disconnect these banks. We've got to figure out, what the real survival issues are, what the existential issues are for the Europeans, and then disconnect those banks and find a way to figure those issues out, because Russia needs to be fully disconnected from SWIFT. And most importantly, and this is a controversial statement, and a lot of people disagree with me, but I think that we have to do a no-fly zone over Ukraine. I mean, it's just unbelievable, unforgivable, and we won't be able to forgive ourselves in the future if they continue to just aerially bombard all of these cities and just kill. I mean, they killed. We don't know the exact numbers, but in Mariupol, there was like 1,500 women and children in a bomb shelter, and they bombed it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
how can we live with ourselves with that? I mean, we're saying we don't want to start World War III. Well, maybe he doesn't want to start World War III either, because we cannot allow that. And if we set up a no-fly zone and he wants to start shooting at our planes, that's a decision he can make as well. But what I can say is that we're all this business about World War III. We're already in World War III. It's just we haven't realized it yet, and we could be much tougher with Putin and certainly not allow them to just butcher and explode Ukrainian women and children. It's just not
Hmm.
forgivable.
Where do you think we are behind the scenes in terms of a no-fly zone discussion and action?
My prediction is that a month from now we'll have a no-fly zone. We always say no, we can't do that. The Canadian government said no weapons for Ukraine. They invaded weapons for Ukraine. Everyone's saying we can't cut off Russia from SWIFT. We cut off Russia from SWIFT. Everything that we thought wasn't on the table before, as this thing continues to play out, becomes on the table. And when everybody is sitting in their living rooms watching these scenes play out on the
Yes.
television in front of our eyes, and we said after the Holocaust, never again. Well, it's happening right now. It's happening to Ukrainians right now, to innocent women and children. It's happening right now. And I understand the desire not to engage with Russia, but for us to say we're not going to engage with Russia and just is essentially saying, you can butcher Ukrainians, you can wipe out their whole population. We're not going to do anything. We can't be those people.
And what do you think governments can really do right now then to provide more security to Ukraine and Zelensky? No fly zone?
No fly zone. Send those Polish jets that have been offered to Ukrainian Air Force. Let them shoot down the Russian bombers. Supply whatever the Ukrainians need militarily. Provide as much humanitarian support for the refugees, because the Ukrainians are standing between us and Russia right now. And they're doing everything in their power to survive, and we should be doing everything in our power to help them.
And they're calling on us for help
And we should help
daily.
them. We should help them in every possible way, including a no-fly zone. I think it's unforgivable, and we should just put aside all these tactical worries and just say, we're going to do a no-fly zone. And Vladimir Putin wants to start bombing Ukrainian civilians, we're going to shoot down those planes.
Okay. Bill, we will leave it there. Great to get your views and insights with all your background and knowledge. And of course, your new book. What's it about?
It's all about Vladimir Putin's money in the West and how he launders it and how we can stop it.